And joining us now with what he's watching as we inch closer, Mike Allen, co-founder of Axios. I was talking about the Axios party. Who was your partner? They must have really had it going on down there. Who was your partner to throw that party?
It was a great party. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, but someone knew what was going on to throw an unbelievable party, and I can't imagine it was you and Axios, was it? Who was your partner?
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
You're the future Malta bureau chief. So,
okay, yes. Exactly. All right, here's where we are. And I had Jared Bernstein on yesterday. And Jared came on and he was talking about bottoms out, bottoms up, tops down, build it out. One out of three Americans think that the economy is going well or that Biden's doing a good job. He continues to just ignore that and say, I'm reducing the deficit, I added X amount, I've done this and I've done that. Americans really aren't buying it. Do you detect that at Axios?
They are. Like, that's the problem. Part of it is housing prices, and a couple things that I can tell you the White House is really worried about is, one, an auto strike, which I can tell you both sides tell me they think it's more likely than not when the UAW contract expires September 14th. Nathan Bomey, who covers autos for us, says the big question is, do they pick one of the big three or do they go against all three of the big three? In any case, like, a big problem for the administration. Second, more and more concerns about a government shutdown, obviously also ripple effects for the economy. Axios has a scoop up this morning from Julie Grace Brefke on Capitol Hill saying that Speaker McCarthy has a lot of mines that he's going to have to dodge if he's going to keep the gavel. What does that mean? That means a shutdown's more likely because, of course, he needs to worry about his right flank. It's going to be harder for him to make a deal with President Biden or Senate Democrats.
You're totally down in the weeds. Let's talk big picture here. How the hell?
Shutting down the government's not the weeds.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of the weeds. When you're talking about where,
not as big.
Okay, here's where we are. We've got someone that I don't know whether it's the Dems are pushing for Donald Trump, but you've got someone who partisan. What are you doing?
I'm listening.
Partisan Republicans, obviously, primary voters are going to back him. Much less clear whether overall he can win a general election. And you've got another person that most Democrats think is too old to run. How did we get here? When are we going to get back to having two candidates that both people say I could live with either one? We've got, right now, most people saying I can't live with either. Why? Why are we here?
No, it's true, the rerun. And what's fascinating is my conversations behind the scenes, like both sides, very confident. You talk to the West Wing, they go in and Democrats are warning them things aren't as good as you think. And they say, like, Trump craziness plus the abortion issue, they feel very confident based on that.
It's just then it's a default to someone that thinks is way too old and probably can't live out, effectively govern for another 4 years, starting 2 years from now.
No, I can tell you.
You think he's going to be the nominee? You don't think that as we get closer, that he doesn't want to admit it now because he would be a lame duck, but you don't think he's getting pressured from Democrats to?
That's two different questions. So one, there's zero sign of that. But second, of course, like, Democrats are, of course, antsy behind the scenes about this. Like, there's a lot of people that I think wish that they had started sooner. It's too late for someone to take him on. But they recognize that there's real issues here, and that's why.
Vice President Harris, right or wrong, is probably one of the least popular vice presidents that we've had.
Well, and of
everyone
course,
realizes it's a breath away from being in the White House in the second term, right?
The White House is being very intentional about repositioning her, giving her more of a profile, because they know a lot of the campaign is going to be about her. Republicans are going to say, based on actuarial tables, if you're voting for President Biden, you're voting for Vice President Harris.